Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is not a maintaining frame, but I guess it could be. It's a red pill relationships. It's a dating.
It's red pill relationships.
Red pill relationships or red pill dating. I don't know. Have we decided what this is yet?
Dating.
Just dating. That seems.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm fine with just like dating. Like we'll just talk about dating.
It's a bit vague.
Dating in the modern era.
Yeah. Modern dating, postmodern romance. So anyway, and we're gonna be talking. Yeah, and we're gonna be talking about the issue of men not wanting to date woke women and why. I guess they should.
They shouldn't be afraid of it. Yeah, they shouldn't be afraid of it.
They should not fear it. They should not fear it.
Oh, but the first, yeah, because you know. Woke women are. I'm trying to find something to sell them.
I can make it really simple
ironically.
For you.
I'm trying to even sell them ironically, and I'm struggling. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was just gonna say, woke women are simply the best people, and that's why you have
Cunning and brave.
They're just the best. They're morally. Like upright.
Superior to you.
Yeah, they're better
morally,
people.
Yeah, that's the takeaway, guys.
Yes.
The reason why you shouldn't be afraid or you should date woke women is they are morally superior to you.
Yes. I haven't
express
read the article.
Appropriate amount of contempt towards you as a human being.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
haven't read the article, but I can predict with some degree of certainty that what they're going to say is being woke just means you're a good person. Are you a good person?
No, Brian, it's not just you are a good person. You are the only good people.
The best
when you're woke.
Person. Yeah, when
you're
woke.
That's just the best. Everybody who is woke is good, and everybody who isn't or isn't a social justice warrior, isn't a feminist, which was the original social justice warrior, was before everything else, even before socialism. If you didn't put women on a pedestal or the various other women surrogates that we have now, you are a bad person. And anybody who does, including the women themselves, they are the good people. And we all should bow before our betters and learn to serve them, as is our lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Finally,
that's why.
It is becoming clear.
Yes, it's becoming clear what the world should be.
Clear.
Truth of everything. Everything is simplifying, falling into place. All the puzzle pieces are coming together. But we have two articles, all right? And I thought because they were so close together in concept, The Dangerous Rise of Men Who Won't Date Woke Women, and 5 reasons why men should not be afraid to date woke women. So in this particular discussion, which I think this is January 2020. What was the other?
January 2020 and November of 2020. So you have early in the year, The Dangerous Rise of Men Who Won't Date Woke Women. That's January of 2020. And then you have 5 reasons men should not be afraid to date woke women, which was in the end of 2020.
Isn't it interesting though?
Yeah.
Like that you have this idea that the men who won't date woke women are dangerous. And that woke women should not be perceived as being dangerous. You see how there's like these two competing appeals to fear and danger?
Yes.
I mean, I would just appeal to just wanting a life free of unnecessary turmoil and sources of contempt. You know, like I would prefer not to date someone who holds me in contempt. Just me. I prefer not to date somebody who turns everything private into a political act. Just me. You know, I like domestic, relative domestic harmony. I mean, you know, like insofar as me and Jonathan can be harmonious, but just a reasonable amount of not having to deal with more shit once you go through the door of your house. Does that sound? Am I conveying something here?
I think, but I mean, it doesn't sound like you're a good enough person. So
that's what this is. I was just feeling this.
Yeah, you're using common
miasma from
sense
you
and
of
like this,
contempt
yeah, but
and
you're just
dismissal.
you're not a good
I'm not a
person.
good.
Like,
You're right. I'm
besides,
not.
force
I'm
and
just
aggression
not.
are all totally fine if it's for the greater good.
Yes,
So,
for the greater good. I forgot all of
yeah,
that. You're right, Brian. I should hold that in mind. That my desire for peace and tranquility and not to be treated with contempt by my partner
yes.
is actually a sign of my white supremacy, I think. No, toxic mask. No, wait, internalized misogyny. That's the ticket.
Yeah.
All right.
Internalized misogyny. So are we going to start with the dangerous rise of men who won't date woke
I
women?
think we need to start with that one. I
On the
think we do.
timeline. This is like the timeline. Okay.
No, this isn't written by the same people. It's just interesting to find
No.
like the threads, the thematic threads
The
of
same
the people
year.
who generally agree
Yes.
with the same stuff.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
it's
pretty
the
sure
same
these two-
year. It's a similar topic.
And I think the two people who wrote it would probably agree on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they probably would. They probably would agree on most of it.
I mean, if you're defending woke, generally you do tend to belong in the corpus of woke until you make a minor infraction and then you get kicked out and ritually expunged and your career and reputation burnt at the pyre of woke.
Yeah, the hard thing about being a better person than everyone else is the standard is nearly
always
it's beyond Christ-like. So, just you can stay for as long as you can, but you will cross a line and you'll be out.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like that's the point of the entire exercise, is to be able to kick people out. It's like King of the Mountain, what's fun about King of the Mountain is kicking everyone else down it. Okay, all right. So I just want to remind everyone. Well, I guess this isn't a reminder if this is the first time you've tuned in. You can send us a message, which is the very best way to send us a message and give us a tip at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. We get the full benefit of whatever funds you send, and you get the full benefit of evading YouTube's comment enhancement system. Comment enhancement.
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing, but unless you don't want to have it enhanced, in which case, go to feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Best way to send us a message, best way to give us whatever funds you'd like as a thank you for the content we're creating, just to tell us, yeah, you're not screaming into the void. Here are some resources to continue to scream into. Yeah, I just sort of trapped myself there in a corner to continue to bring you this content. All right, let's get back to the.
Okay, let's get to the article.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Yes, give us your comments at feedthebadger.com/justthetip.
Do it.
All right.
Okay.
Do it.
So the dangerous rise of men who won't date woke women, by Vicky Spratt, January 2020, on the 21st of January, so early January or late mid January. And here's a picture of Lawrence Fox, which is timely because he is in trouble right now. For talking.
Whoa.
Well,
really?
Lawrence Fox got in hot water very recently because he was trash talking a woman, a feminist. So there was a feminist woman on a panel. She was talking with about
the scallywag.
Yeah, I know. She was talking about male suicide, which was an issue that this other gentleman brought up, and she kind of like scoffed at it and laughed it off. Feminist woman, not at all surprising. Later on, Lawrence Fox was talking about that. He wasn't there, but he, was responding to it, and he said something to the effect of, why would anyone want to date a woman like that? Like just such a terrible person, right? For essentially making light of male suicide. And he got in trouble for it. And he was fired from GB News or whatever he was on. And also, even though this guy had nothing to do with it, his friend, Father Calvin Robinson, who is a priest that was also a kind of commentator on this news show, or like a regular, he was also fired just for being Lawrence Fox's friend because he had not nice things to say about a woman on the internet. So, and it's funny because this is, they're using his picture. He's like the poster child, or at least it just so happens to be the case. And you know, some MRAs came after me because I pointed out how ridiculous it was, that he would get in trouble for something like that, and that he had every right to say whatever was on his mind about whoever he wants, because, you know, in theory, this society is free. And there were even MRAs that said, oh, it was stupid, he should never have done that, and you're a fool for supporting him. And I was like, okay, well, you try being nice, let's see how far that gets you, with these people who clearly hate you. So anyway, so it's an interesting coincidence that there is a picture of Lawrence Fox on this article, because this article is 3 years old. Well, yeah, it's about 3 years old, so it's interesting, right? Okay, anyway. The word irrespective means saying or doing something without taking anything else into account. For example, irrespective of the fact that the cost of living has jumped, putting pressure on many people, the government plowed on with Brexit and argued that there would be no real economic impact. So it is fitting that white man of the moment, Lawrence Fox, who appeared on the BBC's Question Time program and told a BAME audience member, B-A-M-E, I don't know what BAME is. Do you know what that is? That's a British thing, but I don't know what it means. Doesn't matter.
I can look it up. But...
Yeah, told a BAME audience member that Meghan Markle has not been on the receiving end of racism before subsequently appearing on the cover of the Sunday Times to tell the world that he does not date woke women, and then displaying an appalling understanding of history by calling the inclusion of a Sikh soldier in Sam Mendes' film 1917 incongruous, and that has irrespective tattooed on his arm. I guess he has a tattoo.
We might have done this article before. We just
it's
see the
maybe I don't know.
It feels very familiar. Starting to feel really familiar, folks. Yeah. This stuff is. It does tend to repeat a lot.
Yeah,
like another turn of the kaleidoscope.
Yeah, I mean, it is always the same cheese and wine.
Blast.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, it is a bit ridiculous to be like, oh, a Sikh soldier in World War I. Are you? Okay, that was dumb. But
what was dumb?
That's not...
What Lawrence Fox said?
Yeah, well, to say that, to be like, to be confused by the inclusion of a Sikh soldier in World War I.
Well, I don't know. It depends on the context, but I mean.
Yeah, but the thing is that they were part of the British colonialism at the time, and they were drawing troops from their colonies. So
yeah, but were they like, okay? The thing is, I saw 1917. I don't remember the Sikh soldier. I don't remember that part because I was too busy looking at all the other stuff. But
all of
the bombing and the two main characters that you're following through the story. But like, if he saw it, let's say that it's true, and I don't want to like get too hung up on this. But what I'm saying is that we are at a point, and this is like well before 2020, where every piece of media, there's so much crap in it that I think people might even be a little too like overly sensitive to seeing things that feel off. Like they start to smell shit where there might not be shit. But again, I think that there could be a discussion about like why it's wrong. Maybe he thinks that there were special units and they were segregated, and maybe this guy was out of place because he wasn't, or whatever it is. But this is I think it's a not relevant statement, because what this writer's trying to do is say, look, he's not just sexist, he's also racist. And so that's really the goal. Like, we can get into all of the little like particulars of whether or not this is a smart thing to say or a dumb thing to say, but you have to understand, when you get these allegations, it doesn't matter if you have the facts on your side. They just want to level the allegations. So you kind of have to just shrug and say, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't think that Lawrence Fox hates Sikhs. That's all I'm going to say, because that's what you're implying. You know, not you, but the writer of this article.
All right. Yes, I do not think that Lawrence Fox hates Sikhs.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does, really.
I will take that to my grave. I don't think he hates Sikhs. I think he made a stupid off-the-cuff comment with ignorance of history.
Maybe.
Looking at how this particular tempest in a teapot progressed, he did apologize for it. So who cares? He
Yeah, but
apologized to
again,
that one for making a mistake, making a historical mistake. So
yeah.
what? Move on. He
Well,
doesn't
that's
have to apologize to this woman for not wanting to date. Like, cause here's the thing: they're saying, oh, he's racist, therefore something something. You know, step 2, step 3. Therefore, his penis should be available to me. You know, like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
you know,
they want
right.
your penis on a pike.
You know, he has every right to say no, and he has every right to say no to whatever he's not interested in a sexual context. This is another article in which a woman is saying, yeah, men can say no to me, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, let's keep going.
I'll just say this. If you've ever been wrong around a woman, like, they will never let you forget it. And that's what happened. Like, when he said, I'm sorry, that was it. Like, and the thing is, you either end up in a situation where you never apologize for what you say, even if there's like cause for it, like, oh, I was inaccurate here, or I was wrong.
You can apologize to the Sikh men.
Yeah, no, for sure, but I don't.
That's fine, because they'll probably be like, yeah,
I think those guys, like, no Sikhs are losing sleep over that comment. But
no,
that's what I'm saying. Like, this woman is taking up the cause, and that she'll never let him forget it. So just don't bother. Just don't, because like the moment you apologize, you're basically shooting yourself in the throat with a bazooka.
Well,
so, you know,
I think it's okay that he apologized to the Sikhs, but not to this woman or any woman he doesn't want to date. He owes them no apologies.
Right. Okay. And again, anyway, we're gonna move on. I'm just saying, you know, I don't think he hates Sikhs. Who the hell hates Sikhs? They got daggers. I mean, they're fucking cool, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you hear? Yeah. Did you hear that at the back, ladies? Lawrence Fox, who you perhaps only knew as Billy Piper's ex-husband because you've never seen Lewis, does not date woke women who he believes are being taught that they are victims irrespective of whether they are right or not. He thinks it's... What, did I read that wrong?
No, you read that perfectly correctly. The thought is dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but let's keep going. Wait.
The
thought that condemning that.
He was married to Billy Piper. Billy Piper is the chick from Doctor Who, right? She was like the girl that they kept bringing back to the show. Oh, this is when
Rose.
It was when Tenet was on, right? It was that. Yeah, I think Rose. I think that's who it is. Yeah, Billy Piper. I think that's Rose. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm afraid I'm not a big.
I wonder why they're divorced. Well, maybe Billy Piper is insufferable in real life. I mean, I don't know. John Doe says she's cute. I kind of remember her being cute, but I don't know. Whenever I think of like English women that are attractive, I only think of what's her name from the Captain America movie? You know who I'm talking about.
Was she Agent Carter?
Yeah. Haley Atwell. Haley Atwell's her name. Yeah.
I was thinking Kate Winslet.
That is a woman. No, Haley Atwell is sturdy. But anyway,
Haley Atwell.
Yeah, she was in I saw the last Mission Impossible the other day with Lindsay. Finally got through it. I forget what it's called. Dead Reckoning with the AI and stuff. And Haley Atwell's in it. Just, you know, she's kind of funny looking. Like, she's got like this jaw and stuff, but very attractive. That's all I'll say. Even Lindsay was like, yeah, she's, you know, got it going on. Anyway, sorry.
Let's go back to the article.
Back to the article. Right. Irrespective of whether they are right or not. He thinks that it's institutionally racist to tell the story of the First World War in a racially diverse way, irrespective of the fact that Sikh soldiers absolutely fought for Britain. And he also doesn't believe in white privilege, irrespective of the fact that he works in a painfully undiverse industry, was privately educated, and comes from a wealthy acting family, which is nothing short of a dynasty.
Yeah, but...
All right.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'm not going to respond to any of that stuff because I don't know his perspective. I know that she's poisoning the well. She is poisoning the well.
Women, 100%. I'm not going to speak to the other ones. Women are 100% taught that they are victims, whether or not they are or not.
Yes. Agreed.
100%. Okay.
All right. All right. Anyway,
But it is good to note that she's using
yeah,
racism and systemic white supremacy or whatever the hell else to buttress her claims of misogyny, because that's really how it works.
yeah. Well, yeah, because she goes on to say, Fox is denying racism and sexism, irrespective of whether or not they exist. It's
No,
nothing
he's not.
short of gaslighting. It's all very Donald Trump, and as you would expect, it was 2020, Allison. Not that it matters, because in 2023, it's still the orange man still gets invoked. It's like the best guy to point to when you want to shame somebody. As you would expect, the whole debacle has lit a fire under anti-woke poster boy Piers Morgan while gaining Fox thousands of extra Twitter followers. Okay, fine, poisoning the well, whatever. Piers Morgan, totally a simp, but you do you, lady. I could go over all the things he said. I could use data to prove how wrong he is. I could express concern for his mental health. After all, who really enjoys arguing on Twitter? Yeah, I prefer to argue through a Medium blog.
Oh goodness! Like I wonder if I go to her Twitter account, what I'm
Oh
gonna
no.
find.
Well, you could probably go look. Maybe she's following you. I could make jokes about his behavior.
What the hell? Following
But
me?
but
Okay.
all of that would
All
be
right.
too seriously miss the point. There's nothing funny about the things Fox, or Wokey McWokeface, as he now wants to be known, is saying. That doesn't make sense. Why would he want to be known anyway? It's also not
sarcastic,
I
probably.
guess, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It's also not particularly sad. It's dangerous. He is just
Oh
one.
God! Women
Yeah.
are being taught to see themselves as victims, and even when they're not. By the way, this is how I'm a victim as a woman. Jeez.
Yeah.
God damn.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous to be a woman.
Yeah.
Here, take this. It's dangerous. Okay.
He is just one very privileged man, and as a result of said privilege, has been given a platform. By the way, the police raided his home the other day, went through all of his things. He got fired from his job. I don't
Really?
know.
They raided his home? What
Yes,
for?
the cops, because there was like, so basically the London government is getting very, very authoritarian, and they've been trying to, like, I don't know exactly the details. I'm sure there are people who live in the UK that can, like, sort of, explain it, but essentially there are people that are rebelling against this, and they're like, let's say, vandalizing these government cameras they have. And Lawrence Fox said on, like, a radio thing that he supported them for that. And the cops raided his house because they thought that he was actually involved. And they searched his place and all that. So, yeah, that's why. And they took him in because I guess they felt like they had to. So they raided his home. He was arrested and he was fired from his job before that. And Calvin Robinson was also fired from his job. Male privilege. That's male privilege, guys. Anyway. There's nothing funny about the things Fox or Wokey. Okay, it's dangerous. He is just one very privileged man. As a result of said privilege, he has been given a platform, and he has used that platform to legitimize a bigger backlash against diversity and progress, which is unfolding every single day in a less public corners of the internet. Not wanting to date woke women, far from being laughable, is actually one of the more insidious aspects of it. Men having preferences for the kind of women they want to spend time with is insidious. They shouldn't be allowed to choose. Apparently, I mean, spend an afternoon. Yep, spend an afternoon on any major dating app, and you'll come across generally white, but she won't. I know it's not just white guys, but by the way, men saying openly sexist and misogynistic things. They might say no psychos, or they might say fucking hate big eyebrows in their bios. Does that, what? Like, that's just oddly specific thing. I fucking personally can't stand big eyebrows.
Big eyebrows, Vicky? Jeez.
That's a really weird. Yeah. Like, again, goes back to what I was just saying. She doesn't think men should have any preferences. Like, they shouldn't have an opinion on who they want to date, no matter what. Like, if I said, please no unibrows and don't be 500 pounds, they would say I was misogynistic for having those preferences. Men and women can have standards. You know, I mean,
you think that you're a victim of men, just men, period, just men as a group.
Yep,
just men and masculinity, and the fact that men don't want to date you because you have these beliefs should be a no-brainer. Like, as I have said many times, any one of the 121 flavors in the gender spectrum should not have to be in a relationship with a person who regards their flavor to be bad and to be personally oppressing them. Okay? You know, if you think that men oppress you, if you think that masculinity is toxic without ever considering anything that's positive for masculinity, then you don't deserve to have a man in your life. And if you do have a man in your life, you're damn lucky, because he's tolerating a lot of crap from you. Right? And I would say that about any of the 121 flavors of gender. If they do not deserve to have a person, an intimate partner that thinks that their flavor is oppressing them and that their flavor is toxic. And in fact, I would say that if they had an intimate partner who believed those things, they should not continue to be in that relationship. And I don't see how men are any different. Okay? If you think that men oppress women, you don't deserve a relationship with a man. Full stop. If you think that masculinity is toxic, why are you seeking it out?
Yep.
Okay.
And mine, meanwhile, by the way, speaking of preferences, so a man is misogynistic if he says he doesn't want to date a psycho. What are women's standards again? What do women want from men? Do they ask for things like, please don't be a psycho? Or do they ask for them to have, like, to make 6 figures and be 6 feet tall and have a 6-pack, whatever, right? I don't. Which one of those is more unreasonable? Yeah, you know, I mean,
I really cannot imagine a man's bio saying they fucking hate big eyebrows.
Yeah, I know. I think that's maybe some men, you know, maybe some men don't like the really big eyebrows, but there are, like, didn't Audrey Hepburn have pretty big eyebrows? I mean, she was considered beautiful. I mean, if it's an eyebrow, that's a different thing.
I guess like, that's a little one big eyebrow.
Yeah, okay, just one big eyebrow. That's a different thing
altogether.
But then
there's Frida Kahlo.
Yeah, some. I mean, she was a commie. I wouldn't have messed with her. But yeah, some guys would have. You know, she was like, I'm gonna just have my body hair. That's what she's famous for, guys. Her art and her body hair. But anyway, so let's see how much further we can get into this. All right, and by and large, they also tend to hold extremely right-wing views and see themselves as victims of liberal thinking. In fact,
wait. I sense hypocrisy here. Okay, so do you want to date right-wing men? Right, lady? You would say no.
No, she thinks right-wing men shouldn't be allowed to exist.
Yeah, they should be turned into not even left-wing men, because they probably don't like them either. They should be turned into some kind of Heisenberg masculinity in which they are absolutely as tough and rugged as they want in that moment, and then as sensitive as a lamb in another moment, and it just basically whatever expression of her own agency that she wants, a man will correspond through some psychic resonance with her, instead of her just finding it in herself. But anyway, you know, that's a little bit of a rarefied concept, so I'm just going to hold to this. This is hypocritical. You are judging these men for their views, and you're saying it's dangerous that they're judging you for your views? Oh, we really need to take away this. I really wish that we could improve the human race 9-fold by simply being able to call women cowards and have that hurt. Like, you know how you go to a woman and you say, hello, sir. And she just crumples, right? She's like, oh God, don't you know? That should be her reaction. You should be able to go up to a woman and say, "Are you a coward?" And she should just crumple and be like, "No, no, I'm not a coward. I'll charge the machine gun nest. I'll abandon this notion I'm the victim of other men's political positions." Like, this is why we have stuff like this, because we cannot make the word coward hurt when it's applied to women. And it needs to hurt. It really needs to hurt. Like, women should be afraid to be called cowards. But they're not. They're not. This woman is blathering about how cowardly she is, and nobody is looking at her and saying, "Shut up, you lily-livered piece of shit. Are you seriously going to fucking tell me that men's political opinions, if they differ from yours, put you in danger? Are you going to? Is this what you are going to put into the world about your inability to cope?" And I swear to God, women get away with this. And, okay, I'm going to go back, way back. The most bizarre exchange, one of the most bizarre exchanges I ever had on Twitter was with this feminist, or it might have been a traditionalist. I can't tell, because at this juncture, like at this fulcrum, they're both basically identical. But I essentially said something she didn't like, and she thought I was a man. So she told me, "You aren't even strong enough to save me from my weakness." And I'm like, seriously? Do you realize the level of self-own that is? Going up to someone and saying, "You're not even strong enough to save of how much of a loser I am. You're not even strong enough to save me from me being a loser." Okay, well, that's pretty interesting. But that's the problem, you see. For some reason, we live in a world where women's weakness is men's fault.
Yep.
Right? Where if a woman is weak, the person who's really to blame for that is not the woman for being weak, but a man who's not strong enough to save her from her own weakness. Do you get what I'm saying? That needs to fucking stop. There needs to be some level of strength and courage that women are held to. And we could start by just, good God, lady, you're trying to present men having different opinions and not wanting to date you as a danger to you. Like, men not wanting anything to do with you at all is dangerous to you. Okay, we're there. We're at the omega point, I think, on female victimhood. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But I can go deeper. Okay, I got a super chow. So
lovely.
I got a super chow from Richard Bier, and he gives us $5 and says, "How charismatic was Ted Bundy again? Sure, they're accounted campfire stories from anonymous women claiming to have gotten a vibe that something was off about him, to find out later that he was Ted. But when he was doing his thing, he was for a while not a named suspect." Thanks for that.
Well, like what previous show, didn't we talk about psychomaxing?
Yep. Well, I mean, I don't know what. I guess that Ted Bundy is better than Lawrence Fox, according to this woman. I guess, I don't know.
Ted Bundy would have used woke talking points to lull women into a.
Absolutely. He probably did. But okay.
The woke talking points of the era. All right.
Yeah, I'm saying of the era. Yeah, sure. All right.
Oh, and if you guys want to send us a message, once again, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. All right, let's keep going.
All right. Let's see. So they might say, and by and large, they also tend to hold extremely right-wing views and see themselves as victims of liberal thinking. In fact, as I was writing this, a dear friend sent me a screenshot of a guy she's just matched with who described Jordan B. Peterson as his dream dinner guest. Yes, the same Jordan B. Peterson who thinks that white privilege is a Marxist lie and wants millennials to drop their obsession with social justice. Perish the thought. Why
now
isn't
it would be Andrew Tate, of course.
Oh well, they'll still use Peterson. This is the language. Like, this is what it is. Like, it's all about dropping the name. This is why, this is why some of the women that I used to like and follow that have basically said, "Oh, I'm no longer part of that men's thing." This is why they piss me off, because they accept this exact framing. Like, so this woman, the person who wrote this, she's gonna lump in every time Lawrence Fox, Piers Morgan, Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, whoever it is, Fresh and Fit, and then Pearl Davis, and then in a year it's going to be somebody else, and in a year it's going to be somebody else. Donald Trump, it never ends. There's no, like, you can't go in there and say, well, actually, this is the truth about Peterson, and this is the truth about Tate, and this is the truth about, fucking Lawrence Fox, whatever. That doesn't matter, guys. Joe Rogan, same thing. Joe Rogan is like a milquetoast fence sitter. Tim Pool gets it too. He's the king of fence sitters. It doesn't matter what they actually believe. It doesn't matter if it doesn't line up. It doesn't matter. This is not a logical way. This is not logical. This is just, this person doesn't think like me. They are the enemy. Thomas Sowell wrote about this in the 90s. He wrote about this in the 90s when it was going on there, and he said that essentially these people, he calls them the anointed. He said that these people believe they have a certain way of seeing the world which puts them morally above everyone else, and anybody who doesn't fit into that box, which is constantly shrinking. I don't know if you guys have noticed, like Anna Kasparian has been pushed out of the box because she wants to be referred to as a woman, because she is a woman, right? And not a womb haver, although she probably would never think, I may have contributed to this problem, right? But this box is ever shrinking. So this is not, they'll tell you this is a left-right thing. It is not. There is just these people and everybody else. And I've been saying that since Gamergate. I've been saying it since Gamergate. But they will keep using this language because this is what they think the world looks like. You're either as good as we are, which is a constantly changing set of standards that are subject to shrinking. Your purity continues to shrink and shrink and shrink. You will not last. Like,
it's
look
not
what
an
happened
ideology.
to. No,
it is an addiction to scapegoating.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I mentioned Anna Kasparian. She was part of the Young Turks, like really far left, right? Just really out there. Not pure enough for these people. Now she's like, what the hell is going on in the world? And she's talking to basically anyone else. I don't even want to say the right. I don't like the word. I don't, because if people associate things with it that I don't think are correct. I think it's just everybody else and these people. That's all it is. So this happened to her. And then there was, speaking of Jordan Peterson, Ethan Klein from H3H3, right? He was doing a series or a podcast or something with Hassan, men's rights activist, our Machines Piker, and they were basically doing this thing together where they were both talking about their commie talking points, and then the Israel-Palestine thing happens, and all of a sudden they find themselves on opposite sides because Ethan is Jewish and Hassan is not. He supports Hamas, right? And what happened to Ethan? He got attacked. And when he before that, he had Peterson on his show, and he threw Peterson on the bus, and Jordan Peterson said, you are going to, at some point, you're going to make a misstep, and you're not going to fall ideologically on the correct side of a given issue, and you are done. And that is exactly what happened, because that's how this works. So don't accept their talking points. Don't accept their framing. What were you going to say?
Don't accept their talking points. Don't accept their framing. Yeah. Because they themselves don't believe their talking points. They just use them in this really savage game of there can only be one.
Yeah, they're playing Highlander. They're playing Highlander, basically. It's
playing Highlander with virtue signaling. Yeah, it's the Highlander
with virtue signaling. And there is no, again, she's gonna drop names. And there's going to be a temptation to say, wait, what does Lawrence Fox and Jordan Peterson and Calvin Robinson and Carl Benjamin and whoever, right? What do they have in common? That they're not these people. That's the only thing. So that's all you have to look at. It really makes it very simple, right? People with common sense. You know who is also getting attacked is Pierre Polyev. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Pierre Polyev. Yeah.
Yeah, because he did. He was doing that interview, and they were trying to nail him on something, and he's just like, I'm just promoting common sense. Yeah, you are. Common sense is not allowed. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter how pragmatic, how logical, how even keeled you think you are, how, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You're just not them. That's
Well,
all.
yeah.
It's,
Well, it's
and
not just you're not it. Okay, but there is no them. There is like this. Like we need to get away from viewing the individuals who are infected with this zombie virus as having a them or having an ideology. They have an impulse and an instinct to engage in social execution of others. They would use Nazi talking points if that was
well,
what they would. Yeah, well, they do
they
now.
have. They do.
They have.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But they would use anything that gives them the right to morally execute another human being. And of course, they use virtue and the moral talking points and supposedly, I don't want to say ethics because ethics is too much about behavior to be used in this manner, but they use these talking points. But the point is not that they believe them, not that they care about the groups that they espouse, but that they want to use them to engage in social execution of others. It is an addiction to that. I don't know what kind of hormone is released when you do this, like a dopamine hit. They're just addicted to that feeling of making someone else framing someone else as not being human and forcing them out of the tribe. They're addicted to that. They're addicted to the thrill of scapegoating. And like I said, it's not really an ideology. There's no coherence to it. It's just, we want to use this process of scapegoating to give ourselves a sense of momentary belonging. It is one of the most pernicious, and I've seen this with red pill communities. I've seen it with men's rights communities. I've seen it with all kinds of communities. There is purity testing. There is forcing people to adhere to particular lines. I say that, but I mean, it's what I'm trying to get at. It is something that exists in all of us. We all have to be careful not to engage in it. There's no group of people who doesn't do it. There are only the groups of people, the people who have chosen to be very careful about opposing it where it comes up. And you will never, even if you do that, even if you dedicate yourself to not engaging in purity spiraling, not engaging in scapegoating, that will always be there. It's like the Christians are right. It's a sin that we carry with us, and we have to always be on top of it. So I'm not pointing out these other communities and saying, as in, to isolate them and say, oh, they're bad. I'm saying that this impulse exists everywhere, and the only place and in these what we're calling woke, what we're calling social justice, those are places or communities of people who have let that. Is it an instinct? Is it a compulsion? It's like a terrible compulsion. Let it run wild.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot of power to be had, and that's the main issue, right? You could say that I agree with you that this sort of like behavior or mentality, we're all prone to it. But the thing is that these people actually have a lot of power. That's how they get people like Lawrence Fox
they have
fired.
a lot of power.
Yes.
And they don't have any sense of responsibility to this impulse.
They have absolute authority.
And I think that's one of the good things that Christianity does, is it says, we are all fallen. And I'm not personally, like, I'm definitely not religious, but we're all fallen. We all have to be careful because we can get drawn into engaging in very negative things, and we can't think that we're above that, and we cannot believe in things that justify it, right?
Yeah.
Like this whole idea of no bad tactics, only bad targets, that's justifying the worst impulses, the worst psychological impulses. That is justifying the monsters from the id. Have you ever watched that movie? The Monsters from the Id. Okay, I have to figure out the title.
All right, I got some super chows, so I want to read them really quick. Thank you
Forbidden Planet.
Oh, okay, yeah, Forbidden Planet.
Yeah,
that's the one with the robot. That's the one with the robot in it.
Yes, it is. And
Robbie the robot.
there were monsters that came from this this scientist id that plagued the astronauts or whatever they were, had come to save him or to check up on him. I don't remember the plot line, but I do remember the monsters from the id. It's very dramatic. But
Yeah.
this is the problem. You need to realize there are monsters in your id, and they will drive you. And the people who call themselves woke are driven by those monsters. And they're not just driven by the monster of scapegoating. They're also driven by the worst aspects of being men and being women. Like they never got they never got away from male or female nature. They're just driven by the worst aspects of it, and they lie to themselves about it. And they pretend that, oh no, we're above gender. No, you're not. You're being driven by the worst aspects of it. Okay. All right. Continue.
I should read these super chats. So super Charles.
Yes.
All right. So Richard Bier, Albatross gives us $5. Thank you, Albatross, and says, so men are ferocious, toxic monsters that, I think it says this, but I think you mean that do more harm than good. And yet those same guys she's catastrophizing about have to be in relationships with women who hate them. I got that right? Yes, you do. Thank you for that, Albatross. And we got another one from Richard Bier again for $5. And he says, in the realm of the anointed, did anyone notice that the Authentic Observer's acronym just happens to be TAO, T-A-O, or DAO? Is that only a coincidence, or would it be a suitable indication of the claim of superior enlightenment by chance? Approximately Discord markdown characters Bork, the putting the message on the stream screen. Discord markdown characters Bork, the putting the message on the stream. That's
okay. All right. I can decipher that. How many how many characters can they send through before it can't be shown?
Oh, well, it's not really measured in characters. It's basically like a resolution thing. So featured chat has a maximum resolution of 800 by 1000.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but like if you give me a freaking paragraph, part of it's going to disappear in the top because it doesn't scale to fit. And so the presumption is that super chows or super chats will be like, you can go longer, and if you want to do a really big one, I'll read it, but you're probably going to lose it because it's got to fit in that. It's got to fit in that box.
Did that paragraph fit well?
It did. Yeah, that one fit.
Okay. All right, I think that's probably what you said.
You can get a little bit bigger than that, in fact. Yeah, you can get a little bit bigger, maybe like another quarter of the size, another 25%, and that will fit in the window.
So, probably the size of a tweet. Really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's probably about as anything more and you're getting into a dangerous territory. So if you want, you can always make your first paragraph look like that, but I guess it'll squish all of it. I don't know.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
200 characters? Right. No, I think you can go bigger than that. Okay. Let's continue.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of territory to cover.
I know. It's kind of a lot. Okay. In fact, so the millennials, right, Marxist lie. I, meanwhile, recently had to block someone who after matching with me, launched into a vile rant about how women are evil, only want sex, and treat men as though they are disposable. When I asked him if he hated women, he replied that he had only moderate disdain for us before asking me whether I didn't want to date him because I'm actually pretty rough. What? Is this a humble brag?
I just am curious how this stuff comes about. Like, a lot of these anecdotes that these women have, I'm like, what are you? This doesn't even sound like the speech of humans.
Yeah, I know. This is such a, and then all of Tinder clapped.
It's just weird. Also, isn't that what you think men do? They only want sex.
Yeah, like
men are evil,
isn't
and
that
they treat
weird?
women as disposable. Yeah, that seems like a lot of projection.
Are there really men on Tinder complaining that women only want sex?
I love this woman. She's like, how dare men think of women the way that I think of men, or even one half as bad as I think of men. Like, how dare men even consider women one half as bad as I consider them? Like,
What
oh
if
God,
this?
screw
What
off.
if this is a Poe? Is this real? Could
I
this
think
be a
so.
Poe? All
It
right.
could
Well,
be.
we
You know,
started
life
it, but
could.
we should finish.
Yes, let's
You
finish.
can't. You can't
I don't
really
think it is a
tell.
quote, but let's keep
Yeah,
going.
maybe.
Yeah, you can't. You never really
All,
can.
all of this, of course, speaks not only to the presence of the very active online communities of anti-feminist incels, but to the prevalence of the hideous and incorrect ideas they promote. It doesn't take magical thinking to see how men are radicalized by anti-feminism. As the saying goes, when you're used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. The reaction, I feel like I've heard these talking points so much. I got another super chow from Richard again, and he says, for $5, Discord markdowns such as bold type or italics are what bork displaying the message on screen. What? Oh, okay. I see. Well, I guess try not to use italics or bold type. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that this plugin
I don't
can
think
fix.
I don't think that's even possible because you're inputting it as a comment in the WordPress, right? So it's not going to have Discord markdown in a WordPress comment submission form. So
I mean, there is like a way to type italics in like Word without having to select it, right? There's like a code or something.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
I think so.
I
But
mean, I don't know.
but again, this is even more primitive. It's literally a comment you're putting on a product when you go to our blog. Incidentally, if you want to go there, it's feedthebadger.com/just the tip. All right, let's keep trucking along.
Keep going. The reactionary influence of these ideas doesn't stop at dating, though. As the campaign group Hope Not Hate reported last year, by the way, a group that hates, a hostility towards feminism is feeding directly into far-right movements online. They found that a third of young British people today believe that feminism is marginalizing or demonizing men and warned that these beliefs were a slip road to other far-right ideas. Actually, yes, based young British people that believe that feminism is because it is marginalizing and demonizing men. That's literally what it's doing.
You're basically saying that masculinity is toxic without allowing any positive characteristics, and I invite you to name those positive characteristics that you associate with masculinity in the same way you associate toxic ones. And you also believe that men oppress women. That is demonizing and marginalizing masculine identity and demonizing men. Like, it doesn't get more marginalizing than your identity is toxic. And no, we're not going to bother telling you that identifying any positive traits that we identify with masculinity. And you also oppress women. Like, how more marginalized and demonized can you get? Honestly. Like, just right there. It's right on the tin, friends.
They're basically saying, "Oh, you're saying what we're doing. You can't do that. You can't point this out."
Well, here's the thing. Let's look at it this way. Okay, feminists say that men oppress women. All right. Okay. So if men don't oppress women, then feminists are demonizing men. And if men do oppress women, well, then what's your problem? Like, seriously, unless men are doing what you're saying they're doing, you're demonizing them. So you either allow men to oppress women, or you recognize that you're demonizing them. Get what I'm getting? Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, either way, one or two. You can't have it. You can't have it both ways because that's dishonest. People don't like being lied to. In fact, they have hostility towards people who lie to them. So if you, as a feminist, are saying men oppress women, and a guy says I don't, and you insist he does, well, if he's literally not oppressing women, if he's literally not doing what you say he's doing, then you're lying about him and you're demonizing him. So he's got to go now oppress women, or you're a liar.
Yep.
Okay. You shouldn't play with these ideas. Okay, let's keep going.
This isn't just speculation. We know that the number of far-right referrals to the British government's de-radicalization scheme Prevent has dramatically increased recently. In the year from 2017 to 2018, they jumped by 36%, while referrals for Islamism actually decreased by 14%.
I wonder what it is now.
Yeah, well, it's probably still going down because, the people in charge of finding hate, they always find it. It's like It's like when you hire a medium to come to your house and find the ghosts, and they always find the ghosts. They don't need the evidence. They're the experts. It's the science, Allison. The science of hate, of finding hate, that is. But specifically,
You know what's really going to be hilarious is our society. I'm going to make a prediction, okay? And I'm not on anybody's side here, but the anger towards foreign policy is going to increase among certain groups in the West. I imagine that it eventually will radicalize them, and they will start realizing that they can do significant damage without even killing anybody by planting EMPs in infrastructure. Okay? And meanwhile, all of the government bodies designed to preserve our infrastructure and our safety and all this, I'm keeping this very vague, are going to be going after the incels and the far right. And and they're going to be focused on that. Meanwhile, our entire society goes to shit. Okay. All right, but let's keep doing this. Let's keep caring about the fact that young men have realized that feminists call them toxic and oppressors, and that actually is not nice. Like, goddamn.
It's not nice to call them that. They're doing. What they're doing is necessary.
Young men, these feminists are like, you're a bunch of toxic oppressors, and the young men are like, that's not nice. And then the Tommies come out with like their sticks and start beating the young men. How dare you be? Good Lord.
Okay.
Goddamn.
Right now, Lawrence Fox, whether he realizes it or not, has just landed the biggest part of his life. He is legitimizing hatred and division, and yet he cannot be completely unaware of the role he plays. He has spoken about being radicalized himself on YouTube.
Great hatred and division. Okay, men oppress women, masculinity is toxic. Oh, that's not nice. Oh, you're promoting hatred and division. What? Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. That's last year he released an album called A Grief Observed, which is largely about his acrimonious split from Piper. When The Times interviewed him about it, he turned up wearing a pro-Donald Trump MAGA hat and said it was a social experiment. He then told the interviewer that he spent a lot of his time watching YouTube interviews which had totally radicalized him, they put that in quotes, and caused him to embark on a, quote, crusade against woke culture and political correctness, end quote. He wanted, he said, to call one of the songs Me Too, but was prevented by his record label. Wow. Really?
It actually didn't age well, did it? Because I think a lot of people have realized, Me Too was a bunch. Well, it was a cash grab. 1, 2, it actually ended up hurting a lot of people.
It did. But from what I understand, Time's Up made even more money than Me Too. But they were both cash grabs. It was all phony, and it was anti-justice. It was anti-law. It was pro-mob rule. It was witch hunting. It was destroying livelihoods, lives, careers, mostly for men. Actually, probably almost exclusively for men. So yeah. I mean, and apparently this is an issue that he almost made this song. And his record label stepped in. But, male privilege, white privilege, totally exists. The far right itself can be difficult to pin down because it isn't a paragraph. I'm sorry. Fox is a case in point that what might start as playing devil's advocate by wandering the streets in a MAGA cap to provoke hipsters can quickly turn to something more sinister. The far right itself
has a crush on him.
There is something going on here. The far right itself can be difficult to pin down because it isn't exactly a coherent global movement with a concrete set of ideas. Yeah, that's some shit you made up and you just label everybody with it. That's why you can't pin it down.
Everybody I hate. It's not a concrete movement.
Everybody is in the far right except me.
Everybody I hate.
Even some of my friends are far right. I just found out this guy thinks that, he's entitled to see his children. That sounds like far right shit to me. Anyway, it largely exists online in Facebook groups, as Twitter accounts, on YouTube, and anonymous message boards such as 8chan. but every now and then their bile spills out dangerously into the offline world. Okay. In 2016, Labour MP Joe Cox was murdered by far-right terrorist Thomas Meyer, who, 25 years before he killed her, told a far-right magazine that the white race faced a long and very bloody struggle. I don't know about that. I feel like there's some fucky shit going on there. But anyway, and it was 8chan that hosted the manifestos of 3 mass shooters who killed scores of people last year. The El Paso shooter who left 20 people dead, the Portway shooter, right, and the Christchurch shooter. Okay, I don't know what. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is just getting.
I mean, she's just trying. This is more. This is just more guilt association. That's all.
Do you remember when I said we're on the roller coaster and we're going up the hill and it's clunking over? You know that sound, clunk clunk clunk, as it winds its way up to the top of the a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
You got what I'm saying? I said that a couple weeks ago that we're at that stage in this article. We're just escalating. we're just building it up. Now for some reason, men who have right-wing views don't want to date her, and somehow we're at the Christchurch shooter.
Yep. Well, men.
I don't think she's done yet, though. I don't think she's done the escalation yet.
Men who aren't crazy about Me Too are basically supportive of the Christchurch shooter. Yeah, that's what she's saying.
Not even men who are crazy. Men who do not want to date her because she is woke.
Yeah.
Something Christchurch shooter. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think the escalation is over yet, so let's keep going.
Susan Faludi wrote about the link between violence, anger, and anti-feminism prophetically in her book Backlash, the Undeclared War Against American Women, back in 1991. Long before the turbulent times which have seen the rise to power of 2 male caricatures, Donald Trump to the office of U.S. President and the accession of Boris Johnson as our Prime Minister, she warned, by the way, the Boris Johnson thing did not age well. They hated him, but he ended up being probably doing more for them, for their causes, than for the people who actually voted for him. This is from her book. When an attack on home soil causes cultural paroxysms that have nothing to do with the attack, when we respond to real threats to our nation by distrusting ourselves with imagined threats to femininity and family life, when we invest our leaders with a cartoon masculinity and require of them bluster in lieu of a capacity for rational calculation, and when we blame our frailty in fifth column feminists, in short, when we base our security on a mythical male strength that can only increase itself against a mythical female weakness, we should know that we are exhibiting the symptoms of a lethal, albeit curable, cultural affliction.
What the fuck did she just say?
Okay, well, I guess we could go through this a little by little. So
I think what she said is when men protect women, it sucks, yo.
Yeah.
I think.
Because men are forcing themselves as protectors of women. Yeah, no, stop. Yeah, just stop. Well, I mean, what good does it get you? Like, there's a guy who, didn't he like defend some woman's life with a gun, and she was like, "Oh, I wish he hadn't used the gun. I wish he would have just." I wish she'd gone within stabbing distance. If he put his life in immediate jeopardy, it would have been so much more heroic. Yeah, yeah.
And isn't that expecting an even more macho level of violence from the dude? It's one thing to fire a warning shot. It's another thing to go within grabbing and stabbing distance. Not everyone is Batman.
You don't think so?
Anyway, no, yeah, every man is Okay. I think what Faludi,
apparently.
Yeah. Okay, so essentially what they're doing, but what's really interesting is that there's so much of this expecting men to be strong enough to account or to overcome feminine weakness, even in feminists. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they expect men to tolerate things that they would not expect women to tolerate. Like this. Like, she really doesn't want to tolerate the fact that these guys don't want to date her because of her politics. Even though she would be the first to say, well, I won't have to date him because of his politics. Well, what do you think you're appealing to, lady? You're appealing to the idea that men are expected to suck up more because they're men. Because they got balls and you don't.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I got a super chow. Richard Bier gives us $5, and in gigantic text, he says, if you start your line with a hashtag followed by a space, the following text will appear huge, and it did. It was huge.
You should use the
biggest
Donald
text.
Trump huge. It's the biggest.
It will appear huge. That's what they tell me.
Text,
That's what they tell me. Yes.
It's the best text.
The best text. That was a great message. The best message. All right. Anyway, I get all the best super chows. Anyway, back to this our stupid article. So yeah, she's just using a lot of $5 words. It doesn't mean anything really. Just like you said, Allison, it's just men being men, existing as men, and doing what their instincts tell them, which is essentially to protect women, is a dangerous slope.
I don't even know why she quoted Susan Faludi. Like, this is not even an appropriate quote.
She likes how big the words are, Allison. That's
just
all.
Just finish that freaking paragraph off, Brian.
This is what academia gets you. You want me to read it again?
No, the final paragraph. She added, when the enemy has no face, society will invent one. For men like Fox, who feel they have been wronged somehow, that they are missing out on opportunities because for once in history, they are being given to other people, women and people of color become the enemy. So Fox is society? Oh, I guess that's what she's saying. Fox is society, right?
Yes.
Grief.
Society. All right.
Final two paragraphs. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. You can see it in the abuse and threats received by women MPs and in the wildly different treatment of Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton. While Middleton, who generally keeps herself to herself and says little, has become a pin-up heroine for traditionalists, Markle, who has spoken openly about sexism and racism. Meghan Markle is the woman that married Prince, what's his name, right? They're the... we want privacy.
Harry.
We want privacy. Okay. Again, more shit that did not age well. It's almost like people had an idea about what kind of person Meghan Markle was. Okay, but anyway. Markle, who has spoken openly about sexism and racism, trying to use her platform for good, has been, quite literally, driven out of the country, condemned for being an outspoken snowflake. Oh my god. Actually, I think her husband's might be worse. Like that, but... but that's a man, so he probably deserves it according to you, even if he's one of your men. Make no mistake, the far right, God, I hate saying that, is already capitalizing on Fox's words, gassing him up and turning him into an icon. He has added to their backlash and given it oxygen. Every time he is invited onto a TV or radio show to talk about it, the oxygen will cause the backlash to burn hotter and faster, irrespective of whether we're watching it or not.
Look. Oh my god. Oh, we really we're going on the back end of the hill of the what is it? What are the roller coaster things called? They're hills, right? No.
I guess the dips.
Risers?
I don't know.
Risers?
Yeah, I suppose.
We're on the top of the roller coaster now.
Yeah,
we're rapidly
declining
on the dip.
It's over.
Oh, woo.
It's important not to trivialize this anti-woke, anti-women backlash. In the end, it's only by paying attention to it that we can understand it and do something about it.
Actionable steps here. What the hell? Okay, so we can do something about, like, let's clarify all this, because we've gone on to a nice little roller coaster ride. I guess we're coasting into the station now. So let's clarify where we started. Men who do not agree with her politically do not want to date her. And we need to do something about it, folks. What do we need to do about it? Well, we got to stop that. We got to stop that. Men shouldn't be able to what? Not date her?
Yeah, they should
not believe the things that they believe. Like,
maybe that's why the other article exists, because the first article was too effective.
Okay, let's go to the second article.
Let's go to the second one. Okay, so obviously if you're anti-woke, and you're a man, that's super dangerous. It's actually super dangerous if you're a woman too. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? Because you might have, like, if there's a woman who's like, you shouldn't be anti-woke because, you know, then you won't be dating anyone. But then there's a woman that comes along and says, well, I'll date you. You seem like a guy with common sense. Well, that's bad too, because now you're taking these men away, you know, and you're tempting them. You're adding to the fire, lady, by wanting like a decent guy with common sense. That's not right. So, 5 reasons men should not be afraid to date woke women.
Okay, just going back to the last, I just had a thought. So basically what is the solution here except to say to men who don't want to date woke women, well, get off the dating apps. Just don't even go on the dating apps.
I think she wants them banned. That's what I think. I don't know how, but she wants them gone, to disappear, to not have a voice, to not be able to talk.
Okay, let's keep
especially
going.
not to disagree, most importantly. So, all right, let's keep going. So, Brooklyn Thomas writes, 5 reasons men should not be afraid to date woke women. Dating a woman who is aware of social justice and racial issues will never be a bad thing. Right, because it just means you're good. Why wouldn't you want to date a good person? According to Merriam-Webster, because, you know, we got to start with definitions, woke is defined as being aware of and actively attentive to important facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. Following the US election, there is no denying the rise of nationalism. It seems that more and more white men in particular, but she's really just talking about men, guys, are spending time watching YouTube interviews which radicalized him and caused his, quote, crusade against woke culture and political correctness, end quote. Lawrence Fox. So this is like the same guy. They're talking about the same guy. So maybe this is a similar author. Maybe they're friends. Lawrence Fox.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Being woke is being defined as aware and actively attentive to important facts and issues. Well, then we're woke, me and you, Brian, because we are aware of the issues facing men. But that's not what it means, is it?
No, it doesn't mean
no,
that.
it doesn't mean being aware of issues. It means identifying men as the problem.
Yes.
That's what it means. And then also misidentifying whiteness as masculinity or maleness.
Yes.
Because that's what they do. Black men are the white men of black people.
Yes.
Like,
black men are the straight white people. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
straight white men. They're the straight white men of black people.
Yeah, Larry Elder is the black face of white supremacy. That's what it is. So
okay.
Following the U.S. election, right? Okay, Lawrence Fox in particular spoke on how men should be wary of dating woke women. However, as Vicky Spratt stated in her article, "The Dangerous Rise of Men Who Won't Date Woke Women."
Oh my God! I didn't even know that these two articles were linked.
I didn't know that either. It's crazy.
Oh, there's a twist. There's a twist.
Right now, Lawrence Fox, whether he realizes it or not, has just landed the biggest part of his life.
Read this.
Yes. That's right.
Oh
this is a response to the article we just read. I swear to God, I did not know that. I did not know that. But yeah, that's what this is. Ooh, the plot.
Completely different people, like 8 months, 10 months apart.
Basically the same. Wow. Yeah, 10 months apart. Basically the same. So now this isn't. So we've read this already. So I'm just going to read the next part. Now, this isn't to say that dating woke women will save the world. However, I believe it is a start in correcting incel culture. So I wanted to write a piece highlighting why dating woke women is the best thing a man, and people of all genders, could do.
Okay.
So
woke women at their core believe that men oppress women and masculinity is toxic without any allowance for positive traits. And if you can ask a woke woman, so masculinity is toxic, there is toxic masculinity. Now tell me what you associate with men and masculinity that's positive in the same way you associate these toxic traits. Incidentally, the toxic traits that they associate, like criminality, that's not fair at all. They're not masculinity. They are criminality. Okay? You can't say that a rapist is more masculine than the cop that arrests him, than the prison warden that keeps him in jail, than the lawyer that gets him into jail. Like the whole system that punishes him for his behavior. Like altruistic punishment is more expression of mature, healthy masculinity than any criminality. And yet, what do they choose to associate with toxic masculinity? Criminality, which women do as well. There are female criminals too. So this is all nonsense. What they consider toxic masculinity isn't masculinity. It's just a negative aspect of humanity. And then they don't identify any positive masculine traits that they associate with men and masculinity to the same degree as they associate these negative traits. So when you say woke woman, you're saying a woman who believes masculinity is toxic and basically just that. And again, if they don't, prove it. Tell us all what's positive about masculinity. Never talk about it.
No.
So they believe masculinity is toxic and they believe men oppress women. Yes, of course men want to avoid that. Like, why would you want to invite that in your life if you're in any way sane? Like, if there was any, like, if this was about the pistachio gender flavor, okay? And the pistachio people are like, those caramel fudge nugget people, they just oppress us, and the caramel fudge nugget is toxic. And there's nothing positive. I'm not going to identify anything positive about caramel fudge nugget. It's all just toxicity. And then the pistachio people are like, but they should have to date us. Even though they're oppressive and toxic. Like, yeah, you know what? The caramel fudge nugget people shouldn't have to deal with you pistachio people. I'm sorry. Just no. Like, they just should not have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And likewise, men should not have to deal with woke women and their bullshit. Okay, continue.
Okay. I got another super chow. So let me read it out. Richard Bier. It's too big for the screen, so I'm just going to read it off of here. Gives us $5 and in huge text writes, "How dare you rob her power to reject in a humiliating manner the men who she isn't interested in by telling them to not approach her to be rejected." Yes. That is that. How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is this going to solve the incel problem? Like, these women don't want men who are incels in the first place.
Well, no. What she wants is that incels should stay alone, be lonely, and deal with it because they're dangerous around women, so they can't be allowed there. But they also can't be upset about it either. They just have to deal with it.
Why does this woman want men who don't want to date woke women to date woke women, and why does she think that's going to solve incel culture? Like, this is a lot of bizarre thinking, squirrely thinking, spaghetti thinking. Not even spaghetti thinking, because spaghetti has a logic.
No, they just want to hurt them. That's all. She doesn't really care about loneliness in men. She just doesn't care. I think
this is actually less motivated by wanting to hurt somebody as being really freaking insecure.
Yeah, there is that, but like, I mean,
let's keep going.
If you want to fix the incel, well, first of all, I don't think it's a culture, but if you want to like do something about male loneliness, you could try not being a bitch. I say it's a start,
You could try not promoting narratives that
I know it sounds wild, but I think if you're nice to people, they'll be nice to you. And that starts when you're not thinking that they're monsters. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, start not promoting narratives that undermine men's worth as relationship partners and people. Yeah. Like, just stop undermining men's worth as men. Stop undermining the worth of masculinity and stop undermining them as worthwhile as partners. You can start there.
Yeah.
If you want to correct incel culture. But no, let's go with shaming men who don't want to date woke women into dating woke women.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
Because Lawrence Fox, who was married to Billie Piper, totally an incel, guys. All right. Anyway, so I wanted to write a piece highlighting why dating woke women is the best thing a man and people of all genders could do. So basically, men and non-men. Number one, we will get turned on, not off, by your emotions. Elite Singles conducted a survey and found that 95% of women answered yes to the question, do you think women prefer men who are open with their emotions? Whereas only 84% of men answered the same way. Therefore, it could be said that woke women are 95% more likely to find sensitive men more attractive than women who prescribe to patriarchal ideals. Well,
Is
only
elite
by
signals? Elite singles. Okay, first of all, that's an online. Okay, join one of Canada's best online dating sites for single professionals. Does that mean that the people on elite singles are woke? This paragraph is so bloody ignorant of statistics and how statistics work that it is painful to look upon it. I have to tell you guys, get rid of the won't date woke women in your bios and put won't date statistically illiterate women. If you can't read stats, move on. Like, this is ridiculous. First of all, elite singles. Okay. There's no indication that elite singles is woke or left or anything.
Yep.
Okay, so right there. This doesn't say anything about woke women. All right? Nor does it say that woke women are 95% more likely to find sensitive men more attractive. This is just a bunch of garbage. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not even getting into controlling for, like, women responding to things in ways that they consider socially acceptable but do not reflect their actual feelings. There's a way of phrasing that is escaping me at the moment. But it is, you can actually test for that. You can go through a process to determine how much people conform, or the people in your sample are conforming to what they consider socially acceptable responses. I'm guessing they didn't do that. So this is a worthless statistic on its face. Elite singles, who cares? And elite singles doesn't equal woke people.
Yeah, and also well, I was gonna say, like, all you gotta do is look around, like, what happens when men do express their emotions, especially around feminists. No, seriously, like, there was somebody shared, like, something on Twitter/X, I don't know, a few days ago. It was like, you know, a man standing in a fork in the road, and one road was like leading to, you know, being able to express your emotions as men, and like basically it was like be a feminist, and the other one was like be a fascist. What's your choice? What do you decide? And I was like, so basically, if you are not a feminist, you're a fascist. And people were basically in the comments. One of the things was about emotions. I was like, and one guy was like, it's a no-brainer. Guys should be expressing their emotions. What's the matter, bro? Are you like toxically masculine? And I was like, have you seen what happens when to men who express their emotions? Like, this is literally what we do on this, in this community, is men share like their concerns, their issues, whatever, and we are there to support them. This is like literally the opposite of what feminists claim we're about. And even the opposite of what like anybody else is about. I think most people want to know how their friends are doing, male or female, but they want to control the conversation. So they're just like, well, we want to hear your emotions. No, you don't. You want to know what our vulnerabilities are so that you can tell us you're drinking our tears. Because that's literally what you do every time. It's what you do every time without fail. Because we're not sharing, we're not in your cult. So therefore, we are not men. We're not even human. Right? I don't know. I think sometimes when feminists talk about what the things that men do, they're only looking at like the psycho-maxed 1% of men. They're not even looking at the average man. Those men are invisible. Those men are invisible. That's why that's why they mention guys like Tate and Peterson. Oh. Because to them, those dudes are the only men that exist. Why are men like this? Yeah. Well, I don't think Peterson is, but yeah, I'm saying
no,
like...
not at all. No, but Tate is psychomaxed. And I'm just looking at this tweet that I just received. I'm going to send it to you. It's actually pretty funny. It does sort of speak to this particular idea. Okay, so this is from Arx Hominin. B. Jeremy Meeks. Get in prison for robbery and injuring a child. Help women start a fundraising campaign and collect $900,000 to get you out of prison. Become a model. Marry a billionaire's daughter.
Guy. Yeah.
Cheat on her. She forgives you. Clearly mate switching. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. He probably can't even speak outside of like one syllable words. Good Lord.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yep. That women definitely like you for your sensitivity.
That is exactly the kind of man that they see. It is. And then
both
when
ways.
those
Both ways. Top 1% in terms of resources now because he's married a billionaire's daughter, and top 1% in terms of being a total freaking psycho.
Yep. And those are the only men that they acknowledge as existing. Everybody else is invisible. So that's why when they say statistics, they're like, well, I know what I'm talking about. Anyway. I got a super chow. I got another super chow. One. Yeah, thank you so much.
Super chats, but lots of super chows.
Lots of super chows. And this is from an anonymous person. They give us $5. Thank you, anonymous person. And they say, for $5. Excuse me. Incel is a bullshit term. It's a derogatory term for true forced loneliness. It's almost impossible to be an incel unless you're severely physically and or mentally disabled or locked in prison, because it's not that expensive to hire an escort/prostitute. If you're in a strip club with a condom dispenser, chances are one of the strippers will solicit you. It's happened to me a few times. Sex is easy to get. What these men want are love and companionship. Remember when JBP cried for TFLs and women mocked him? I do remember that. And yes, I don't know if you're new here, but we do talk about that a lot. And I agree. It is what I've been saying from the beginning. Feminists and people like this, they don't misunderstand what incels are. They are not interested in the truth. They are interested in how the term serves them. That's why they use it. Now, I've had incels on the show. I have interviewed them. Some incels are in our Discord and they hang out with us. And, yes, they struggle with lots of stuff, and a lot of them are disabled. I think that's a big issue, is that there is a lot of physical and mental disability. And the truth is, I mean, it's not like a happy thing, but like a lot of times the truth is that they're probably like not going to find a woman easily, if at all, and start a family, which is probably what they would like to do. And the best thing we can do for them is like help them to kind of, I guess, adapt and cope and provide, a network, a community of people that are not going to throw shade at them, that are not going to treat them like oppressors, and that they're toxic, and that their identity as men is somehow like bad for society, because it's just not. So these people are not going to do that. Like for them to be so tolerant and empathetic, they don't have any. They really don't. So like, I agree with you. Thank you for the super chow. But we talk about this all the time. I think that at the end of the day, it's just like you said. In fact, I think that a lot of them would probably be very happy if they just had really close friends. And ideally, they find someone who will love them and appreciate them for who they are, and maybe even want to help them realize their, whatever their potential might be. But like without women like that to encourage that in men, to like, support them in that way, it's just going to be a struggle. And of course, this is what they want. Like I said, their choice to use the incel label in the way they do is purely intentional, because they just don't care. They don't want to help you. They don't care if they that if you if you think that they're using the term wrong. You can't change their mind, because they've decided, like, this is what they've decided, and you are the enemy. And it's good for them, because I mean, it perpetuates what they're putting out there. It keeps it alive. As long as there's any man anywhere that is unhappy with the state of things, then there are people like this that get they get to write articles, they get to make money, they get to continue to tear us apart from each other. So
yeah, it's like, well, where are the incels who are being supported by the system? They're not there. Like,
Yeah.
This is what's freaking hilarious. Like they
That's
insist, women like this insist that the system somehow benefits men. But if it did, then male incels would be in her position because she is a woman arguing that men should find her attractive, right? She
yep.
is, and I know people will say, well, there can't be female incels. But I would say that any woman who is insisting that men find them attractive is really in that same sort of similar ballpark. And I don't even think incels insist women find them attractive. I think a lot of them just want people to be honest about what women do find attractive. But anyway, but she gets a platform and she gets respect for her opinion about men, which is ridiculous. Like if men should not date woke women. Like honestly, like what gives her the right to even suggest that a man should date a woman who thinks that he's an oppressor and that his identity is toxic?
Yeah.
You know, and like it just comes down to that. It's an astounding level of entitlement. Okay, let's
All right. Let's keep
even,
going.
even red pill guys don't have that level of contempt for femininity.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. As we know, or as we all know, suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 45. Across the globe, men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide in Australia, 3.5 times more likely in the US, and more than 4 times more likely in Russia and Argentina. These statistics are troubling, and it is society that is to blame.
Same
Of course,
society that benefits them over you.
yeah, the same society that, well, but patriarchy hurts men too, also. I don't know. From childhood, we teach our boys, and oh God, not this again. I'm so tired of this. All right, I'll just read through it. Here comes the toxic masculinity thing. From childhood, we teach our boys that they had to be strong at all times. As Coleman O'Driscoll, former executive director of operations and development at Lifeline, stated, quote, "We condition boys from a very young age to not express emotion because to express emotion is to be weak. As a result, men are less likely to admit when they are struggling and seek help." Or maybe it's because women have so much contempt for men that actually like need help.
Quote. Oh wait, I guess he did. Okay, keep going. Let's get through this.
All right. By
This
dating a
lame
woman
butt
who
crap.
doesn't expect you to move mountains, you can be assured that you will find a partner who will support you through thick and thin. No, we can't cure mental illness, but we won't expect you to go through it alone. We won't judge you for feeling down, and we certainly won't emasculate you over a few tears. Sensitivity is not a weakness. Finding emotional damage sexy is so 2010s, and this decade we seek to pursue secure men who aren't afraid to be unashamedly themselves.
You're still emphasizing men's strength there. Secure men. Okay, you're still emphasizing men's strength there. And also you're not this is a false sales
Yeah,
pitch.
you're just lying. I mean, like I this is why this bothers me. This one is lying. She doesn't want to be a man's emotional tampon. She just doesn't. These women don't want this. They want to say it. This is like when Teal and I were going through that book, and he was talking about the white male system. This is the opposite. This is the feminist female system. It's basically like, I'm going to tell you all this platitudinal bullshit that says I care, but when the rubber hits the road, I'm not going to care. Like, they're just not. This is like
my male tears mug.
Yeah, I'm going to sip from my male tears mug. I'm going to turn you down. I'm going to swipe left, whatever it is. I'm sorry, but
lady,
try as a man, try opening up a Tinder and put all of your emotional baggage on your profile and watch how many women pick you. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen, and they should stop lying about it.
All right, but let's refine it to this particular woman. This is a woke woman.
Okay.
This is a woman who believes that men oppress women and that masculinity is toxic. What if a man went to her and said, "Those ideas are hurtful"?
Mm-hmm.
What will she say? Well, when you lose privilege, a person who loses equality feels like a loss of privilege. It hurts for people who are used to, or equality hurts for people who are used to privilege, right? You are engaging in hurting men in the most intimate and universalizing way possible. Okay? You are literally beating on men with your ideology. You are savaging their self-esteem. And then to turn around and say, well, you know, we'll care about your pain. No, you don't. If you did, you'd stop inflicting it.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong?
No, of course. I mean, like you said, like they know that incels are suffering. They know that those men are in pain, but she doesn't care. That's why I said, like, don't make the mistake of thinking these people don't know what the truth is about them, and that they don't have like the ability to like find out if they claim to be really intelligent, right?
It's even simpler and clearer than that. They are engaging in of the pursuit of harming men. They're harming their identity. They're trying to strip men of an identity, of a positive identity, of any connection with that, with their masculinity to a positive effect in the greater world. And they're casting them as antisocial and oppressive. They're literally, you cannot take a man and harm him as a man any more than they're already doing. And then they're turning around and saying, we care about your feelings. No, you don't get to do that. You can be a woke woman. You can demand men submit to your abuse, but you don't get to abuse men and then say you care. No. Okay. It's as simple as that. Stop punching men, and then maybe we can talk about how much you care about their pain. All right, let's keep going.
All right. Did I get another super chow? I thought I saw something, but no, I guess not. Okay.
Well, I can do another shout out. Guys want to send in a message? Feedthebadger.com/just the tip. Feedthebadger.com/just the tip.
Okay.
So I guess each one of these has this extended stupid write-up.
Yeah, we could we could like get to the short bits of each one, because I got a super chow. I mean, not a super chow, but a patron only show after this, and I don't want to go super late. So okay.
Let's go. Let's do it then.
Fine. Yeah, let's do it. Number 2, you will have the best orgasms of your life. Gross. According to many men, prostate orgasms are said to be god tier of male. Oh my god, are you serious?
Pegging.
Let us peg you. It's totally a feminist act, guys. Okay, I'm not gonna read any more of that. I'm just not doing that. Can we just say, please no, like men are allowed to have preferences sexually as well?
Okay,
stop being gross and weird.
Okay, 1, we'll abuse you for your own good.
Yeah.
2, we'll force you into sexual actions you're not comfortable with.
Yes.
3,
she will push you to success. As the saying goes, behind every great man, there's a great woman. Now imagine the power of a couple has when they're stood side by side as equals, supporting each other and sharing the load. Yeah, that's kind of what that means. I think it's important to date your equal because instead of having to pick up the slack, you can concentrate on building each other up instead. This isn't to say women who aren't woke are unsuccessful. They are. But as I said above, the likelihood is that they don't expect you to be strong all the time. Yeah. Shut up. Number 4, you will save money. No, you've already ruined the economy when you guys pushed. Okay, go ahead.
I just had this image when she said, we won't expect you to be strong all the time. Okay, so you're going to take a kneecap to men's self-esteem with this whole men oppress women and toxic masculinity. You're going to kneecap men, and then when they're writhing on the floor, you're going to say, well, I don't expect you to be strong all the time. But, you know, you're just in pain because you're losing your privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. This is bullshit. Okay, continue. Let's do
all
number
right.
4.
Number 4, you will save money regarding dating and splitting the bill. Oh my god. 84% of men and 58% of women report that men pay for most expenses after dating for a while. 57% of women offer to pay, but 39% of women want their men to reject the offer. Okay, I get where this is going. Generally, women want you to pay, though. Let's stop lying. Even feminist women. It doesn't matter. Like, even you don't want a man to say, could you pay for dinner forever? Like, it's never going to happen.
At
What were
least
you
these
gonna
are
say?
some. Let's finish reading those.
The
We'll just go
statistics?
through quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
44% of women were bothered when asked to pay. 64% of men say that women should contribute financially to a relationship. 76% of men feel guilty when a woman pays. Yeah, most men don't want to be in that position. 44% of men would end in a relationship if women did not contribute financially. 75% of men and 83% of women share some dating expenses by the 6-month mark. Though it appears that modern dating is a bit behind the times regarding evolving gender roles, a change is occurring. On all social media platforms, you are bound to come
As far as
across...
I know, it's getting worse.
No,
Like,
yeah, it's
they're
definitely getting
more
worse.
materialistic. Women are getting more
Women?
materialistic, more demanding,
Yes.
and more like brazenly so. But let's continue.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the thing is, with most woke women, we won't expect you to be the sole breadwinner or expect you to shower us. We can do that to ourselves. I prefer paying for myself because it allows me more freedom on dates. I can get the most expensive meal on the menu because I want to. I like being treated just as much as any other person. However, there is no expectation for it to be a regular occurrence. To me, it means more when it happens out of the blue. I'm not sure I'm alone in this, but so you can believe that dating us is a cost-effective investment for a more fruitful future. Plus, the likelihood is that she'll be bringing home a lot of the money too. A win-win.
That's assuming that women who are successful in their career are woke, which is a tenuous assumption.
That is a tenuous assumption. Yes. And again, why are you selling yourself here? I don't understand. Like what? Never mind. Number 5, she will make you a better man. Oh, well, that's probably the most. She will change you, like at your very root, if you allow it.
Don't you want a woman who thinks that you're an oppressor and that your identity is toxic, but she'll make you better through her abuse?
Yeah. I believe empathy is the key to many of our problems, whether they be societal. No, of course not. Societal or personal. As much as empathy is innate, I also think it's a skill that needs to be practiced on the regular. As we have seen time and time again through history, it is a lot easier to hate and fear what you don't understand. It is challenging to be empathetic to issues that don't concern or affect you because they don't feel real. Dating a woke woman is a surefire way.
Do you ever challenge yourself on that, lady?
No, not at all. Yeah, so dating a woke woman is a surefire way of becoming a better person. They will have you practicing empathy regularly and caring for people in situations you had no idea were real. So again, just like I said in the very beginning of the video, being woke just means I'm a better person than you, and I'm the only path to your salvation. I am God. You have to follow me. I am perfect. I know exactly how people are supposed to be. I can make that judgment.
She essentially said that be in a relationship with me and your opinion and your view of your own life will have no place.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to have a place psychologically in our relationship, guys. Sign up for that.
Oh my God, it's so exhausting.
Oh my God. Oh, keep going. Let's go. Let's finish.
Men like Lawrence can by law do what they want, but I can't help but worry.
No shit, bitch.
Yeah, right. I can't help but worry about the fate of the world and our future. Many people want to go back to the good old days where things were good, but I have to ask, good for who? As the saying goes,
women.
Yeah, it was actually good for women. It was good for women.
Women were like twice as happy in the good old days.
Yeah.
But okay, let's keep going. Like men haven't really changed that much.
No, when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. So it's no wonder why so many privileged people are terrified.
Okay, if you are thinking of having a relationship with someone, here's some advice from Allison. If you are thinking of having a relationship with someone and that person starts off with thinking you're privileged, don't. Don't. Like, what a nightmare. Okay, let's just finish before I go into
There's a little bit more to it. I believe the reason men want to avoid women like ourselves is to avoid feeling guilty or being held accountable. Ignorance is bliss and the world is dark and full of terrors. No. It's because they know to avoid people like you, and they should avoid people like you. It's not, oh my God, they don't want to be held accountable. Oh my God, what an abusive thing to say. I believe dating a woman who is aware of social justice and racial issues will never be a bad thing. It is good to care about people beyond yourself. It is good to want to be better. You are a terrible,
this is an adorable little
person.
7th grade essay. I
Yeah.
believe that's how you end a freaking essay in middle school. Well, it doesn't matter what you believe. You have not established that. Let's go through this really quickly again. One. Let's go to one. You will get turned on, not off by your emotions. So she believes in an ideology that regards men as oppressors and masculinity as toxic. And until they can identify positive traits of masculinity that are just as associated with masculinity as toxic, they are saying that masculinity is toxic. So they regard masculinity as toxic and they regard men as oppressors of women. That is abuse. Full stop. That is denigrating a person's identity, sexual and gender identity. It is denigrating their position in society. So right off the bat, she's abusive to you, but she cares about your emotions, yo. She's gonna kneecap you, but she's gonna be like, "Oh, are you writhing in pain? Well, excuse me while I snigger a bit, but eventually I'll give you I'll throw you a bandage." Like, no, this is bullshit. If she cared about men emotions, she wouldn't be damaging them. Okay, let's go to 2.
Number 2, you will have the best
You'll have the
orgasms.
best. I will wheedle you into a sexual act you don't want to engage in. And if you're a guy who likes being pegged, fine. But don't actually. You know what? Even if you like being pegged, there are probably better women than this.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
I'm sure there are better women than this to get this from. Oh God. But ultimately, this basically is saying, I will extort
I'm gonna
you
use
into having a sex act you're uncomfortable with.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I'm sexually coercive.
Well, she knows what's good for you sexually because she's a better person than you are.
Yes. All right. And if you don't want to be pegged, it's because you hate women.
Yep.
Fuck. So she's going to sexually extort you. She's going to abuse you and then gaslight you by saying, "Oh yeah, I care about your feelings." No, not if you're abusing them. And then she's going to extort sexual activities that you may not like, because if you don't engage in it, you hate women. I've seen the logic. I've seen the arguments behind pegging. All right, they're ugly. Okay, if a guy likes pegging, fine. If he doesn't, leave him the fuck alone. All right, she will push you to success. Bullshit.
Yeah.
This is actually an indication that she probably regards a relationship as zero sum. Right? You have to be successful, but you also have to make sure to support her success. So she's going to see your success as a threat to her success, and she's also going to see where you don't support her success as a threat to her personally. This is an endless treadmill that you're going to be on.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's a red flag.
It's a trap. I mean it's a trap.
Okay, let's go to 4.
Number 4, you will save money, which kind of
Bullshit.
is contradictory to number 3 because she's not going to pay for everything. We know that that's true. Well, at least I think so. Because you will be expected, based on she will push you to success, that you should be at a certain level. So you're not going to save money because you're going to be expected to spend it.
Okay, let me put it this way. She will push you to success. Your success will be simultaneously expected and a threat to her. And you'll have to be successful, but if she isn't, that's because you didn't support her. And she supported your success. This is a two-way lose-lose for men. You will save money, I doubt it, but who knows? I can't really say anything. I can't really say anything to that one. So let's go to 5.
All right, number 5, she will make you a better man.
Good Lord. No. Absolutely not. Do not get into a relationship with a person who says stuff like this. And the what I'm reading from this is that she's better than you. She's going to make you a decent human being, or just a human being, period. And your opinions and your feelings and your perspective, because you're a privileged man, are always not even, if you're lucky, they're going to be secondary. If you're unlucky, every time you bring it up, she'll shut you down with the privilege narrative. So yeah, you have to be empathetic, but you never get it back.
Yep.
This is bullshit.
Indeed it is. And I got another super chow from Richard, and he gives us $5 and says, there is only one God, and his name is Ergo. All right, thank you, Richard, for that.
That's a reference for the patron community, which you can access at badgernation.online, at least the free section. Ergo is he is the god. He's the person who mans the Ask God channel in our Discord. So
there you go.
Yeah. We actually have God in our Discord, and God would agree with everything I have to say. Therefore, this woman, well, let's just say that if she listened to me, she would be a better woman. Maybe that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Because my statements are approved by God.
That's right. God approved. All right.
Or at least
anyway.
Fox approved. All right.
Yeah. At least that.
Okay, so that is those two articles, and we're ending right at.
Yeah, we're ending right at the hour.
Okay, so I think everybody who's listening already knows this is a pile of bullshit.
I mean, I hope so. I saw some new faces in there, so welcome new faces. I hope you guys stick around. Or maybe you were lurkers and you didn't say anything all this time, but welcome anyways. I'm greeting you now.
Welcome. Enjoy our content. Our Friday content last Friday. The thing is that when Karen comes on, it derails. That's just the way it goes.
The nature of the beast.
It's the nature of the beast. We are a lot tighter on when it's just me and Brian, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Although sometimes I can go on a nice long rant. But usually we keep it a little tighter. But anyway, shall I end it? Shall we just say this is absolutely...
Close the things off. This is absolute BS. You guys should know that. Stay away from these women.
In conclusion, the rise of men who don't want to date woke women is dangerous. Because everything about men is dangerous, of course. And so you shouldn't be afraid of dating woke women, because they'll tell you what's what. They'll tell you that as an oppressor, as someone who's toxically masculine, as someone who's lesser than them in the relationship, they will make you a better person. They will make you a better man. So you shouldn't be afraid of dating someone like that, because we all know that dating someone who thinks they're better than you is a recipe for happiness.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
So do the final things.
Okay, if you enjoy this content, please go. If you enjoy this content, send us a tip. Tell us you enjoyed it. If you have any commentary that you want to stay, we will read it at the next show. Even after the show is over, it goes into our little commentary bank, and we will read it at the next relevant show, shall we say. And so you can send it at any time. It's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Tell us we're not screaming into the void. You can give us a tip because you appreciate the content. You want to comment on anything. You want to suggest something that we should talk about. Do that as well. Everything is appreciated. We read everything, even if it's incredibly confusing and we don't understand it. So once again, that's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Send it back to you, Brian.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, please smash like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we talked about on the show today. You can find links to the article in the description. And now we're going to go to the patron show and hang out with the patrons. I have a special article for us to go through. So if you want to join us, go to feedthebadger.com. Well, it is this, of course, because we didn't really go through it before, so I thought I would just make it a patron show topic. Of course, men already hate the Marvels, which is that movie that nobody watched. So if you guys want, it was like the biggest box office bomb of all of the Marvel movies. Well, of all the Marvel movies. The Marvel movies. It's like it made like 40 million or some ridiculously low. And of course, there's damage control everywhere. So we're going to find out. Obviously, it's because, men hate women, or maybe because men follow instructions when those women say, if you don't like our politics, don't watch our movies. And so those men were like, I guess we won't watch your movie. And now they're like, why aren't they watching our movie?
Sort of like the series of dating advice that we just looked at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
yeah,
it's
so
exactly
if you wanna join Brian for a discussion of course men already hate the Marvels, then you can do so by signing up as a subscriber at feedthebadger.com/subscription. And then you can get access to our after shows, our previously held after shows, and you can join Brian for this one. So once again, that's feedthebadger.com/subscribe. Subscribe.
Is
not
it?
subscription?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
subscribe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. I'll
all
double
right.
check. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
right. It's right there on the website. So, feedthebadger.com. Just go there, and then you'll find your way. I'm sure that it's extremely intuitive. So, anyway,
feedthebadger.com/subscribe. Yep.
all right. Well, anyways, yeah. With all that said, like, share, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. And I will talk to you all in the next one. Have a good night, everybody.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.